When he saved her from sniper fire, he had no idea who she really was. The rescue. The screech of metal against concrete echoed through the downtown canyon as Marcus Rivera guided the steel beam into position, 43 floors above the bustling city streets. Sweat dripped from his brow despite the cool October evening air. The overtime pay was worth the exhaustion. He needed every dollar to keep his small apartment and pay for his sister's college tuition. "Rivera, you good up there?" Tommy Chen's voice crackled through the radio clipped to his hard hat. Marcus pressed the transmit button. "All set, Tommy. Just securing the final bolts on Section 12, the construction site of the new Meridian." Tower stretched below him like a metallic skeleton against the twilight sky. Most of his crew had gone home hours ago, but Marcus volunteered for the night shift whenever possible. The solitude helped quiet the memories that still visited him in crowded spaces. Memories of sand, gunfire, and split-second decisions that meant the difference between life and death. 3 years since his discharge from the Army. 3 years since he'd traded his sniper rifle for a wrench and tried to build something instead of destroy it. Most days, the transition felt almost complete. Tonight wasn't one of those days. A glint of light from a building across the street caught his peripheral vision. Marcus froze, his combat-trained instincts recognizing the distinctive reflection of polished metal in streetlight. Scope. His blood chilled as muscle memory kicked in. Body position, wind direction, trajectory angles calculated in milliseconds. Without thinking, he grabbed the binoculars from his tool belt and focused on the opposite rooftop. There, silhouetted against the night sky, a figure crouched behind a rifle. The weapon was aimed not at the construction site, but at street level. Marcus followed the projected line of fire and spotted the target. A woman in a dark coat walking alone on the sidewalk below. She moved with purpose, checking her phone as she navigated between late-evening pedestrians. Shoulder-length auburn hair caught the glow from storefront windows as she paused at a crosswalk. The shooter adjusted his position. "Son of a..." Marcus grabbed his radio. "Tommy, we got a problem. Call 911 now. Tell them there's a sniper at 1247 Madison Street, 6th floor, armed and about to fire." "What? Marcus, what are you talking about?" There wasn't time to explain. Marcus dropped the radio and sprinted toward the construction elevator, his work boots pounding against the steel decking. The elevator was too slow. By the time it reached street level, the woman would be dead. He needed another option. The zip line. Crews used it to transport tools quickly between floors, but it wasn't designed for human cargo. It stretched from his current position to a building 3 blocks down, close enough to the target area if he could time it right. Marcus grabbed the emergency descent harness from the safety station and clipped himself to the zip line. He looked down at the street 43 floors below, his stomach lurching. This was insane. But the alternative was watching an innocent person die while he did nothing. The woman was moving again, approaching the intersection where she'd be most exposed. Marcus pushed off into the void. Wind whipped past his face as he rocketed down the cable, the city lights blurring into streaks of gold and white. The harness bit into his shoulders as gravity pulled him faster than the safety equipment was designed to handle. Below, car horns and sirens began to wail. Someone had spotted him. He was still 2 blocks away when the woman stopped walking. She stood perfectly still in the middle of the sidewalk, her head tilted slightly as if listening. Something had spooked her. The shooter wouldn't wait much longer. Marcus reached the anchor point on the neighboring building and fumbled with the release mechanism. His hands shook from adrenaline as he unclipped and ran to the stairwell. 37 floors to ground level. The elevator was faster, but he couldn't risk it stopping on other floors. He took the stairs 3 at a time, his heart hammering against his ribs. By the time he burst through the emergency exit onto the street, his legs burned and his lungs felt ready to burst. The woman was half a block away, still unaware of the danger. Marcus sprinted toward her, weaving between parked cars and evening commuters. She'd started walking again, approaching the kill zone the sniper had calculated. "Hey!" Marcus shouted, but his voice was lost in traffic noise. 20 yards. 15. 10. The woman turned at the sound of his approaching footsteps, her eyes widening with alarm. Up close, Marcus could see she was younger than he'd thought. Maybe 30, with sharp green eyes that missed nothing. Those eyes held a wariness that seemed too deep for someone just walking home from work. "Get down." Marcus tackled her to the sidewalk just as the rifle crack echoed between the buildings. The bullet sparked off the concrete where she'd been standing a second before. Screams erupted from nearby pedestrians as people scattered for cover. Marcus rolled, pulling the woman behind a parked delivery truck. "Stay low," he whispered, pressing her against the vehicle's wheel well. "There's a shooter on the roof across the street." She didn't panic. Instead, her eyes scanned their surroundings with tactical awareness that surprised him. "How many?" "Just one that I saw." "You hit?" She shook her head, checking herself for wounds with practiced efficiency. "I'm fine." "You?" Another shot shattered, the truck's rear window showering them with glass fragments. The woman flinched but kept her composure. Definitely not civilian behavior. "We need to move," Marcus said. "He's got the high ground and clear sightlines down this whole block. The parking garage entrance is 30 feet that way. Can you make it?" "I can make it." Her voice carried a steady confidence that made Marcus wonder what kind of training she'd had. "Go." They sprinted together in a low crouch, using parked cars as cover. The shooter fired twice more, both shots striking metal and concrete inches from their position. Marcus felt the familiar calm of combat settling over him, time slowing, priorities crystallizing into simple objectives. Get to cover, protect the civilian, neutralize the threat. The parking garage's concrete walls provided blessed sanctuary from the sniper's line of sight. Marcus guided the woman deeper into the structure, while sirens wailed in the distance. "You're bleeding," she said, pointing to his left arm. Marcus looked down to see his work shirt torn and bloody from their slide across the concrete. He hadn't even felt it. "Just a scrape." "You sure you're okay?" She nodded, studying his face with those sharp green eyes. "You saved my life, thank you. Just glad I was in the right place." Marcus pulled out his phone to call Tommy back, but the woman caught his wrist. "Don't. Not yet." Her grip was stronger than expected. "That shooter, he wasn't random. He was specifically targeting me. Why would someone want to kill you?" Before she could answer, the sound of boots on concrete echoed through the garage. Multiple sets moving fast and coordinated. The woman's expression hardened. "We need to go. Now." "The police." "Those aren't police." She grabbed his hand and pulled him toward the opposite exit. "Trust me." Marcus hesitated for a split second, but something in her tone convinced him. They slipped out the back of the garage into an alley, filled with dumpsters and delivery vehicles. Red and blue lights flashed at both ends of the street, but the woman led him away from the main thoroughfares, navigating through shadows like someone who'd done this before. "What's your name?" Marcus asked as they walked. "Luna." She glanced back at him. "Luna Blackwood, and you?" "Marcus Rivera." "Marcus." She smiled for the first time, and it transformed her entire face. "You're military." It wasn't a question. "How'd you know?" "The way you moved. The way you assessed the threat. The way you didn't hesitate to put yourself in danger for a complete stranger." Luna stopped walking and turned to face him fully. "Former Special Forces?" "Army sniper." Marcus studied her expression. "Your turn. What kind of work do you do that makes people want to shoot you from rooftops?" Luna's smile faded. "The complicated kind." They'd reached a bus station where late-night commuters waited under fluorescent lights. Luna checked the schedule and pulled a $20 bill from her wallet. "This is where we part ways," she said, handing him the money. "Take a cab home. Don't talk to anyone about what happened tonight. Not the police, not your friends, nobody. I can't take your money. And why shouldn't I report what I saw? Because the people hunting me have resources you can't imagine. If they think you know something about me, you'll become a target too." Luna's voice was urgent now. "Please, Marcus, just forget this happened." A bus pulled up with a hydraulic wheeze and Luna stepped toward the door. Marcus caught her arm gently. "Will I see you again?" She paused, conflict flickering across her features. I hope not, for your sake. Luna boarded the bus without looking back. Marcus watched through the window as she found a seat and stared straight ahead, her face unreadable. The bus pulled away into traffic, taking her back into whatever dangerous world she inhabited. Marcus stood alone under the harsh station lights, holding $20 and a dozen unanswered questions. The adrenaline was wearing off now, leaving him shaky and confused. He'd saved a woman's life tonight, but he had no idea who she really was or why someone wanted her dead. All he knew was that Luna Blackwood was far more than she appeared to be, and despite her warning, he couldn't shake the feeling that their paths would cross again. Walking home through the quiet streets, Marcus couldn't stop thinking about those sharp green eyes and the way she'd moved with deadly grace through the shadows. Whatever Luna was running from, it was bigger than a random shooting, and somehow by saving her life, Marcus suspected he'd just stepped into something much larger and more dangerous than he could possibly imagine. The revelation. 3 weeks had passed since the shooting, but Marcus Rivera couldn't shake the memory of sharp green eyes and the woman who'd vanished into the night. He'd tried to follow Luna's advice and forget the incident, but every time he climbed to the upper floors of the construction site, he found himself scanning the opposite rooftops. The knock on his apartment door came at 7:30 a.m. on a Tuesday, interrupting his morning coffee and the sports section of the newspaper. Marcus Rivera, a woman in a navy blazer, stood in his hallway holding a badge. Detective Rosa Martinez, Metropolitan Police. I'd like to ask you a few questions about an incident 3 weeks ago. Marcus's stomach tightened. What kind of incident? Shooting downtown. We have witnesses who saw someone matching your description at the scene. Detective Martinez had kind eyes but a no-nonsense demeanor. May I come in? Marcus stepped aside, gesturing toward his small living room. The detective perched on the edge of his couch, pulling out a notebook. October 15th, approximately 9:45 p.m. There was a sniper attack near the intersection of Madison and 5th Street. Multiple witnesses saw a man in construction gear tackle a woman to the ground just before shots were fired. Ring any bells? I saved someone's life that night, Marcus said carefully. Is that a crime? Not at all. We're trying to piece together what happened. Martinez flipped through her notes. The interesting thing is, we can't find the woman anywhere. No hospital admissions, no police reports filed, no insurance claims. It's like she never existed. Marcus kept his expression neutral. Maybe she didn't want to get involved with police. That's what's strange. Most people who nearly get killed want protection, want justice. But this woman, Luna Blackwood, according to the bus driver who remembers her, she just disappeared. Martinez leaned forward. What did she tell you about herself? Nothing much. She was scared, thanked me for helping, and left. Marcus shrugged. I figured she had her reasons. And you didn't think to call us? Report the shooting? I thought someone else would handle it. I heard sirens. Detective Martinez studied him for a long moment. Mr. Rivera, I've been a cop for 15 years. I can tell when someone's holding back. If this woman is in danger, we need to know everything you can tell us about her. Before Marcus could respond, his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Warehouse District, Pier 47. Come alone if you want answers about Luna. A friend. Marcus's pulse quickened. Detective, I've told you everything I know. If there's nothing else. Martinez stood, handing him her business card. If you remember anything at all, call me immediately. And Mr. Rivera, be careful. Whoever was shooting that night is still out there. After the detective left, Marcus stared at the text message. Every instinct told him it was a trap, but the need to know what had happened to Luna outweighed his caution. He grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. The warehouse district sprawled along the industrial waterfront like a graveyard of rust and broken glass. Pier 47 sat at the far end, an abandoned loading dock that hadn't seen legitimate business in years. Marcus approached cautiously, his eyes scanning for movement. A figure stepped out from behind a shipping container, a tall man in an expensive overcoat with Slavic features and cold blue eyes. You are Marcus Rivera, the man said in accented English. The construction worker who interfered with my work. Marcus tensed. Your work? I am Viktor Kozlov. 3 weeks ago, you prevented me from completing a very important contract. Viktor pulled back his coat slightly, revealing a pistol in a shoulder holster. This created complications for my employer. You're the sniper. Among other skills, yes. Viktor smiled without warmth. You cost me a significant fee, Mr. Rivera, but perhaps we can reach an arrangement. What kind of arrangement? You will help me find Luna Blackwood. In return, I will not kill you. Marcus's hands clenched into fists. I don't know where she is, but she will contact you. Women like her, they form attachments to their rescuers. It is a weakness. Viktor stepped closer. When she does, you will tell me. Otherwise, your sister, Patricia, isn't it? Second year at State University, might have an unfortunate accident. The threat against his sister sent rage coursing through Marcus's veins, but before he could move, the sharp crack of a rifle echoed across the warehouse district. Viktor spun and dropped, clutching his shoulder as blood seeped between his fingers. Down! Luna's voice called from somewhere above. Marcus hit the concrete as another shot sparked off the shipping container where Viktor had taken cover. You, set me up, Viktor snarled, drawing his pistol with his good arm. No, Marcus said, genuinely confused. I came here alone. Luna appeared at the edge of the warehouse roof, a sniper rifle in her hands. She wore tactical gear now instead of the civilian clothes from their first meeting. Black cargo pants, a vest with equipment pouches, and military-grade boots. Viktor Kozlov, she called down. Federal agents have this area surrounded. Drop your weapon and surrender. Viktor laughed harshly. The famous Luna Blackwood. Do you know how long I have hunted you? About 6 months too long. Luna's voice was cold. You killed 3 of my witnesses and 2 federal marshals. That ends today. Witnesses? Marcus's mind raced. Federal marshals? Viktor raised his pistol toward Marcus. Perhaps I cannot complete my original contract, but I can still send a message about interfering with my work. Luna's rifle cracked again. Viktor's gun flew from his hand as the bullet shattered his wrist. He collapsed, cursing in Russian. Within minutes, black SUVs converged on the pier. Federal agents in tactical gear swarmed the area, securing Viktor in the scene. A tall man in a suit approached Marcus, flashing credentials. Director James Morrison, U.S. Marshal Service. You must be Mr. Rivera. What the hell is going on here? That's what I'd like to know. Director Morrison glanced up at the warehouse roof where Luna was climbing down. Agent Blackwood was supposed to be in protective custody in Denver, not conducting unauthorized operations in the field. Agent Blackwood? Marcus stared as Luna approached, her rifle slung over her shoulder. The scared woman he'd rescued 3 weeks ago was gone, replaced by someone who moved with lethal confidence. Director, Luna nodded tersely. Viktor Kozlov is in custody. The threat to the Petrov case witnesses has been neutralized by conducting an unsanctioned mission that put a civilian in danger. Morrison's voice was sharp with disapproval. Mr. Rivera could have been killed. Mr. Rivera was already in danger the moment he saved my life, Luna replied. Viktor doesn't leave loose ends. Marcus felt like he was watching a conversation in a foreign language. Someone want to explain what's happening here? Luna looked at him with those sharp green eyes, but now he could see the weight of secrets behind them. I'm a federal agent, Marcus. I specialize in witness protection, keeping people alive when organized crime wants them dead. 3 weeks ago, Luna was escorting a high-value witness to a safe house, Director Morrison continued. Viktor Kozlov was hired to eliminate both the witness and Agent Blackwood before they could testify against the Petrov crime family. But I got separated from my protection detail, Luna added. Viktor had inside information about our route. I was walking to the backup rendezvous when he tried to take me out. Marcus's head spun. So when I saved you, you saved a federal case that we've been building for 3 years. The witness I was protecting has testimony that will put Dmitry Petrov and his entire organization away for life. Luna's expression softened. You also saved my life, which I haven't properly thanked you for. Victor mentioned your sister, Director Morrison said to Marcus. We'll make sure she has protection until this is completely resolved. Marcus nodded, numbly watching as paramedics loaded Victor into an ambulance under heavy guard. Is it over now? Victor was just the hired gun, Luna said. But with him in custody and willing to cooperate for a reduced sentence, we can roll up the rest of Petrov's network. The witnesses will be safe to testify. Director Morrison's phone buzzed. He stepped away to take the call, leaving Marcus and Luna alone by the pier. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you the truth that night, Luna said quietly. The fewer people who knew my real identity, the safer everyone was. I understand. Marcus looked out over the dark water. Will I see you again after this? Luna was quiet for a long moment. My work doesn't usually allow for my personal connections. It's too dangerous. But, she smiled, the same smile that had transformed her face 3 weeks ago. But I owe you a proper thank you. And maybe, when the Petrov case is closed and Victor's associates are all in custody, I might have some time off. I'd like that. Director Morrison returned, pocketing his phone. Agent Blackwood, we need to debrief immediately. There have been developments in the Petrov investigation. Luna nodded, then turned back to Marcus. Thank you, Marcus Rivera, for everything. As the federal agents packed up their equipment and drove away, Marcus stood alone on the pier where it had all started. He finally had his answers. Luna Blackwood was a federal agent who protected witnesses from organized crime. Victor Kozlov was a professional killer, and by saving her life, Marcus had helped preserve a crucial criminal case. But more than that, he'd met someone extraordinary, someone who risked her life to protect others, who carried the weight of dangerous secrets with quiet strength. His phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. When this is over, dinner. Luna Marcus smiled. Typing back, I know a place with great security. Construction sites have excellent sight lines. The response came quickly. Perfect. I'll bring my rifle just in case walking back toward the city lights. Marcus realized that saving Luna Blackwood had changed his life in ways he was only beginning to understand. He'd spent 3 years trying to build something instead of destroy it. Turns out sometimes the most important thing you can build is trust with someone whose job is protecting others from the darkness. And sometimes the person you save ends up saving you right back.